Not sub when it's Supra. This phone still works, and there's somebody standing behind me waiting to use it. And we're gonna rock. We're gonna rock this house. It's a fucking whiner standing behind me waiting to use this phone. I don't think he's actually waiting to use this phone. I think he's just trying to intimidate me and trying to make himself feel important. This phone smells like really cheap cologne. This is the phone where I sometimes call the suicide line, just to make sure it's still there. I think this phone's going to be gone soon. The big supermarket over here is closing. And this one does have advertising on it, but I don't know that they're going to support it. I just got a strange call from the bank, from the investment bank. I don't really have much in the way of investments, so I don't know why they'd be calling me. But I remember last year, I think maybe a couple of years ago, they called me to verify account information or something, just as a routine thing. So I hope that's all it is. Pretty strange, though. You get an unsolicited call from your bank. I kind of thought it might be an identity theft problem again, but I guess not. Just trying this one out. 4501 40th Street. 4501 40th Street at Queens Boulevard. And I've seen people use this one before. It's outside of a gyro place. So somebody's waiting to use the phone now, so I better go. It's 83rd Street, 45th Avenue, I think. Yeah, 82-26, 45th Avenue to be exact. I don't think you can hear me though, but I'll still get the number. And we won't hear, I'll just do that. But what a fascinating little world I just walked into. And most interesting, perhaps, that there's a cross. Somebody drew a cross on the inside of this payphone. And the cross is put in quotes. I wonder what that means. I wonder if somebody's trying to tell you something. Huh? Funny, all the anxiety I had going out this morning or afternoon is completely gone now that I'm actually out here. I guess I'm going to head up to the mall. See what awaits me there. Really all I need is a bathroom. I'm just going to talk as long as I can. I've had a lot of thoughts running through my mind. I wrote some poems this morning that were not very good. But they were a little more, they felt a little more natural than what I usually do. A little more fluid, like the muscles last phone. It's 82-62 Broadway, I think it's the address. It's a wild little world I just walked into. Nobody's minding me. They're just minding their own business, and that's okay by me. I don't know where to go for some anonymity. A lot of people around. This is Whitney Avenue, and I don't know what. Broadway, of course. And there's a disturbed guy hanging out next to the payphone that I want to get a shot of. And I'm going to wait because the payphone has an old 10-cent per call sticker on it. I don't know if I've seen one of those lately. There's a strange crowd around here. I mean, strange to me. Nothing is really strange on Earth, but you call something strange. What you're saying is you're the only stranger around. But I don't know where I am. It's sort of funny that the dude hanging out by the phone is wearing a shirt that says supervisor, and he seems to have me by the balls. He probably wouldn't give a donk if I just walked right up to the phone and took pictures of it. What would he do? I mean, what would he do? Who would care? This is inside the diner, the Georgia diner. And I've never seen BOA payphones, I don't think. But the signage on this thing says everything is carried by NYNEX, so. But these are shiny and new looking phones. This one works, the other one apparently does not. There you go. Got a grilled cheese with bacon. And I don't even feel like going home. I'm stepping outside of my routine. And it's not killing me yet. 39-2048 Avenue. The EHawk phone. Outside of the school. And as soon as I came up here, a whole bunch of people showed up. And they're probably wondering why I'm using this thing. I wonder why I'm using this thing because I wasn't really planning to, but I wanted to look like I had something to do so these people wouldn't think I was standing around outside of a school waiting to be a child molester or something. The older man was looking at me kind of funny. Kind of cross-eyed. This EHawk has a couple of these inexplicable notches inside. If I had more change on me, I'd leave some inside. That's what I did with the phone on 21st Street outside the Dunkin' Donuts. I left some money in there, thinking it would be there when I came back. And it was still there a couple of weeks later, but a couple of months later it was gone. So I don't know who finds that stuff. There you go. Yeah, this is the old BAS booth under the Pulaski, or almost under the Pulaski, on Borden Avenue. At this big interchange, there's a bunch of traffic for people waiting to get into the tunnel. It's an old favorite payphone of mine, but it's BAS, so it probably doesn't work. Didn't really intend to come out this way today, but it's supposed to be hotter tomorrow, and I'm feeling a little bit of the heat today, so I gotta get it while I can, but I'm gonna head back soon, because I gotta start putting out. I gotta stop, put up or shut up is what I mean. Putting up, not putting out. I'll put out, but that's another story.
If you would like to make a call, please hang up and try your call again.
Just some notes. Somebody, I did not find a rusty hypodermic needle, but I did find a thumbtack perhaps planted by someone who wants to maintain the myth that payphones are often littered with toxic debris. I don't know who would plant a disease-infested thumbtack in the coin return slot of an abandoned payphone. But I got to the nearest bathroom I could and washed my hands, choosing not to worry about it. That payphone is in Long Island City. It has some connection to the payphone.com website, or at least it had a connection to it at some time. Payphone.com does not appear to be in the actual payphone service industry, but they do sell the equipment and phones and all that stuff. I don't know if the signage on that phone indicates anything else, but anyway, that's all I had to say. Hey, it's back. This is a favorite payphone of mine. I thought sure this one was going to disappear. And maybe someday it will, but this old Verizon beat-up piece of crap got picked up by Van Wagner, so I'm really happy about that. It's the little things for me, but this one and the other one down on Vernon and 34th Ave, every time I walk past it, I have this dull fear in my heart that it's going to be gone. Looks like they might have just replaced this one within the last day or two. I think I looked for it recently. Oh, there you go. This is, what is this anyway? Astoria Boulevard, I think. Grand Central area. It's at 35th Street. Great location. Pretty sure I've used this one before. It's been a long time. What would this be? I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't have an opinion on anything. Yeah. It's a beautiful day and looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be in the 70s. Checking in from Telebeam on 43rd Avenue and Jackson Avenue, near Purves Street, which appears to have been renamed Sculpture Street, or dually named. Summer's over, so it's back to chasing daylight for me. The weather is about as perfect as I could have wanted. And I'm just walking around getting some air and getting some exercise. I'm not sure if the nocturnal life is really going to make the most sense this year around, but we'll see how it shakes out. Do have to get some more real exercise, though. All those new buildings going up over here, and it looks like people are actually living in some of them, which is a little random. I mean, you've got deserted-looking lobbies with populated-looking buildings in the middle of kind of nowhere. I mean, I like nowhere, but I don't think I'd want to live there. And again, maybe I've been living there my whole life. No. There's a payphone at the end of the road. The fucking park is still closed. It's making me more and more annoyed as the months pass. Closed it off so they could build a bike lane. So the bikers actually sort of take control of the park, even though they probably can't use it either. It wouldn't surprise me if they let them in, but not normal people. It's the day everybody remembers. And the day I try to forget. But I don't have any more of an interest in the events of 11 years ago than most ordinary people, but sometimes I wonder if I didn't feel something resembling survivor's guilt. But I was never in any particular danger. But when you watch the buildings come down and the bodies flying, you wonder sometimes why wasn't that me? It could just as easily have been. But I try not to think about the events in a way that puts me at the center of anything, because I'm inclined to do that. I was walking off a bit of a hangover. I was up till 4 with my friend, just hanging out. And I don't really know what to think. Yeah, so it's already dark out, and I'm using the payphone in the dark. This is one of my favorite ones. I was feeling exhausted after this day, and remembering that I forgot about this all day, but I woke up screaming really, really loud overnight. And I don't know what was going on. It's not like anything in particular was scaring me in the dream. I wasn't having a nightmare. But it was a long scream. It was kind of scary. I'm going to go back home now, but I'm going to go to the bar because I'm going to try to take some pictures of a rock band playing tonight for the website for that place, just for fun. So, just checking in from one of the last unsubsidized payphones in Times Square. It's outside of Tad's Steakhouse. And I'm just taking some pictures of reflections in the phone, just going for a little artsy flair to get reflections of people passing by. This is an old phone. Got lots of old graffiti on it. It's a Telebeam. And it's outside of Tad's and a Sbarro in between the two. I've called from here before. "48th Avenue, Van Dam." Just wanted to take some notes for the story I'm going to do tonight. I've been taking pictures of payphones for about 20 years. That's about as long as I've been taking pictures in any serious way. I never considered the subject matter, well, let me scratch that. For the most part, my interest in the subject has been a source of ridicule and name-calling. It wasn't until 2004 that the project assumed any modicum of real respect, in my opinion. Not that other people didn't think it was amusing, but I don't think anyone took it seriously the way I did. But I was never able to really tell people that I took the project seriously because mostly they just laugh in my face. These days it's different. If I talk to people under 30, they seem to think it's pretty cool. But people my age, not so much.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. 406353.
day was another waste. I kept busy, I looked busy, I did things, but there's nothing to show for it. I got an email from an old lady. I mean, I assume she's elderly. She said when she was 21, she played some piano piece out of the A-Tube Music magazine. Sounds like it was 40 or 50 years ago, so she must be 70 or 80. But she couldn't remember what issue it was in, but I was able to find it, so I scanned the piece of music and sent her a copy of it. She responded quickly that she was really happy. And I got a call from the title company telling me to look for a FedEx package tomorrow. I hope that works out. I'm probably going to spend all day dealing with that. Now I'm going to play trivia even though I don't feel like it. I have a little bit of a sore throat and I've been hitting the bathroom about 12 times today. But I think that's all done. We'll see where it's all going. I saw somebody using this payphone yesterday. It's the first time I've ever seen anyone using this payphone. 48th Street, 5th Avenue. This phone's new at my 181. And it looks like everything's finally coming down. Everything's closing. I'm happy and I'm sad and I'm relieved, but getting in Midtown later than I usually would to pick up some checks that I knew would be here or that I thought would be here. I think I'm going to buy a couple of new shirts too. Just because I'm starting to see the value of expensive clothing. Wipes away a lot of my character flaws and makes me look like a better human being. Well, that's it. It's at 21st Street in Ditmars. And it's the big day after. And yesterday was, I don't know if it was anticlimactic or if I just don't care. But finally sold the place. And it's gone. And I'm glad. But I'm sad. Sad, relieved, and happy, but I'm really not happy at all, actually. Happiness doesn't even play into this. Just walked around a lot last night. Went down to 21st Street by 39th Avenue, where those auto body shops are. Wanted to see what they're putting in at the old Staples. And it looks like they're putting in a shopping plaza. But those old auto body shops are pretty cool. They look like they've been there for 100 years. Like something out of Scorsese. I don't know where anything is going right now. I may be completely misinterpreting a situation. And I'm starting to feel bad about well, I feel bad if I'm interpreting it right, and I'm going to feel bad if I got it wrong. I'll feel bad if I got it right because I don't want that to be right, but I'll feel bad if I got it wrong because that makes me an idiot. Whatever the case. I've been feeling totally shitty. Ever since I saw that fish bone a couple of days ago. But I'm also not really eating right, and I can't be helping my innards. Just walked around a little bit today, walked around a lot yesterday. Just feeling sad about the final closure of everything on the property down in Daytona. Even though I wanted it out of my life, but you get used to having things around after this many years. I don't know. It turns out I was right. And it's not cool. It's just not cool. Maybe I'm a misogynist without even knowing it. But now I think about it, everything that went down with this relationship was how I predicted it. Or not that I predicted it, but how I imagined it. And it's just not cool the way I did this. I didn't do this right. Maybe I've become too cynical. And too many people fuck around when they're in relationships. This is the way it is. I used to have a thing about sharing a woman's sex organs with another guy. To me, that was the disgusting part of having an affair. When I discovered that that's not even the least of it. Sharing that is the easy part. She's inexperienced, but that's no excuse for me. She tried to say mean things to me, but I already know I'm an asshole. She said she thought about taking me home to meet her parents, which she could never do because she's been seeing for the last 5 years. And if I feel bad about hurting somebody, I can at least say that she just doesn't listen. She didn't catch my signals, or not even signals, my direct statements. And we live in alternate realities. And that's been like a lot of relationships I've been in, where I say one thing, she hears another, and vice versa. Yeah. I'm just here talking to myself for a minute. I'm at the mysterious Hall of Payphones at Penn Station. And I'm on a mission to find the prey person, which I forgot about. I never realized there was any significance to it, but the person who went around scribbling the word prey onto every single payphone in New York City. Somebody's writing a story about it. And it reminds me of the love God, love Jesus person, who was also somebody, manager at Tower Records was telling me about him. Described as A, maybe we're not really sure who it was. I'm looking for graffiti on these things, which I've never really looked for. Or I've made a point of not looking for it, because I think it's ugly, it's illegal, and not worth promoting. Just checking in from the 33rd Avenue. Getting some photos of this phone. I don't know if it's going to be here much longer. No reason to. No information to suggest that it's going, but we'll see. I don't know if it was subliminally intentional or not, or unconsciously intentional. But I'm finally booking my trip to Washington, D.C., and I reserved a room at the motel where I last saw my father. It was in September of 2000.
sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. The following tones are for the hard of hearing.
I can't read this is the Gallery Place metro station. These metro stations are all so gloomy and dark, and the phones are no better. They're enclosed in semi-booths with no ceiling but 3 walls. Most of them don't work. I've been walking around a lot. I made it out to the Congressional Cemetery, which was my goal. And I wanted to try for Arlington. I might still try it, but I might wait till tomorrow. I feel very alone and depressed again. This is why I don't like traveling. It's to get out into other parts of the world and I start to see how many people there are. There are just so many people. Too many people. And they all have lives, and they all have interests. And everybody's life, everybody's world revolves around themselves. And that should fascinate me, but when I see how many people there are, it makes me realize that I could never fuck them all. And I want to. I have another full day here. Then I go back. And I'm going to think about other places to go. Other things to see. All right. Well, just checking in from the chicken shack. Mama's Chicken. Mama Pollo. She's outside of the other Days Inn. And outside of the Grand International Food Place, which is a trip. Standing in the direct sunlight, just thinking about the day. Looking forward to hanging out in this part of town. More so than in the tourist sections. Just want to relax. I slept late, but I still felt tired. Going home tomorrow. I think this is about just the right direction for this trip. I want to think of someplace else to go now. The number on this phone is 732-264-9706. And it's owned by Robin, R-O-B-I-N. Never heard of them. Make sure I get a close-up of that. Made it out to Arlington. And as soon as I got there, I realized, yeah, this would take a week to see everything that I would really want to see here. So I just headed for a couple of the highlights and went out. I took a dump at the Lincoln Memorial, which was kind of an adventure. But I feel like a better American for it. Washington's a nice town. They do a good job with things. Really can appreciate the metro. I wonder how different New York would seem to me if there was a metro instead of a New York Transit or MTA on it. Probably be very different. I was going to write a story about a janitor who takes a special pride in his work, cleaning toilets. And he claims that people come from miles around to use his shitter. And that people swear he has some special magic about him, but he insists it's just fundamentals. Fundamentals of scrubbing the fucking toilet. But they interview people and they're like, yeah man, I came from Tennessee just to take a dump here. Sometimes four or five of my buddies will get together. They can't believe it. They just can't believe what a difference it makes to shit where this guy cleans it. This is an interesting little spot. I'm not leave the phone off the hook. but it's the day before the big storm. So they keep saying. I have not been following the weather forecasts like I usually do. But I'm ready, I think. I bought a candle. I got 4 flashlights already. Gonna make some food. It'll be okay if the lights go out. Just for a little while. I got some ice in case the lights go out for a while. A little worried about my UPS. It didn't work last time when I accidentally tried to put the wrong switch in the fuse box. And I shut up the power over there. And it didn't work. But it's only good for a couple of minutes anyway. Don't have anything to say. I'm just walking around, taking pictures of things. I'm going to stash 11 cents in this payphone. This is the phone booth with the payphone enclosure. With a couple of little shelves, if you want to call them that. And I don't understand why they're there. I saw another one with the same setup. So I stashed some coins in it. And they were there for months. But somebody finally took them. I'm going to leave 13 cents. Another time I wrote a poem and I wadded it up and left it in here. But that stayed for a while. I don't think anyone ever picked it up. I mean, if they did, they put it back. Just seeing everything before the storm. I'm not going to be able to go outside for a couple of days, I guess. Maybe 2 or 3 days. Seeing like 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. I mean, a hurricane is about to collide with a nor'easter. It's going to turn us all into a big tumbleweed. I mean, it's going to turn the air into a big ball of tumbleweed. I guess it remains to be seen if payphones are going to be sought after in the coming days. It's not like cell phone satellites are going to be knocked out, but there could be power outages. In the past, the conventional wisdom was that to use a landline during a power outage, but I don't think that conventional wisdom necessarily holds up anymore. I don't think I have anything in particular to be nervous about. I'm thinking about anybody else I know. But I checked in with some friends yesterday and today. And I might ride it out at the bar starting tonight, but stumbling around drunk in 60 mile an hour winds doesn't sound too smart. And I also want to keep an eye on my websites. But we'll see. There's a really sorry looking street fair going on over here on 36th Avenue. Never seen such a sorry-looking street fair. Reminds me of my dad. We had a comment once when we were at a Morrison's cafeteria. We were just looking at the steaks, and he just looks at them for a few minutes and says, well, those are some pretty sorry-looking steaks. And he was right. They were. Well, we'll see where it all goes. I'm just getting somewhere outside time while I can. I screwed the pooch yesterday. I thought the storm was supposed to start yesterday. I thought this was supposed to be the big bad time, but it's really this time tomorrow that they're saying. So we'll see. So I stashed 38 cents on the letter E at the Baccalaureate School for Global Education. It's next door to the Apollo Gallery. I want to see if the coins survived the big storm. I left coins on a rock outside of Calvary Cemetery once. They're still there. I've actually replaced them a number of times. Or traded them, I swapped them. But it's interesting how such a public, or not public, but such an exposed thing can survive just out in the open, out in plain sight. Well, the calm before the storm. And I'm just getting some outside time while I can.
Parece la luna iluminada, seguro que me veré. Parece la luna iluminada, seguro que me veré.
Deposit 25 cents for the next 3 minutes. Please deposit 25 cents.
This is really happening now. The winds are kicking up. The subways have stopped. The hippies are out hugging themselves and saying, "I'll see you on Wednesday." And the assholes are ignoring the mandatory evacuation orders. I really don't understand that, but I don't know where to go. I guess it's easier to just say fuck yeah. We do this ourselves. I don't know if it's easier or if it's just lazier. It's windy, but and the temperature I think just dropped about 15 degrees. I wonder if this is the last call I ever made from this payphone because this big one's going to be gone in 2 days. Yeah, the temperature really did just drop 15 degrees. I'm not making that up. I'm going to eat good tonight. I'm going to eat well. It's going to be a restless night. I mean, come on, I moved away from Florida because of this shit. Hurricanes followed me all the way up there. Fucking assholes. I don't understand it. I don't understand the planet. But, we're going to go round and round, and the whole air, everything in the air is going to be twirling like tumbleweeds soon. I don't see anybody putting the tape on their windows like they did during Irene. But, maybe they should, because there's going to be more
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. We're sorry, the number you have dialed has calling restrictions that have prevented the completion of your call. Announcement 19. Welcome to Verizon Wireless. We're sorry, the number you have dialed has calling restrictions that have prevented the completion of your call. Announcement 19.
Just checking in, surveying the damage, and I forgot to bring any coins with me, so I had to use the quarter that I left on the Baccalaureate School for Global Education sign. I knew that would come in handy someday. A lot of trees down, but no broken windows that I can see. A few big trees came down. Like scary big. It's amazing that they didn't slam into buildings. Rainy Park was open, and it looks as obnoxious as I thought it was going to look. Basically, it's a big velodrome now, at least the part by the water. Over by the Costco, I saw them draining Roosevelt Island. I had a conversation with somebody. We were talking about how disastrous it would have been if that crane had just fallen to the ground, fallen to the street. There would have been a major explosion. Everybody I know seems to have gotten through fine. I'm not sure about my friend Tina, though. I mean, she got out, but I don't know about her house. She's in Port Jefferson. The bar looks fine. And I'm going to go over to Broadway and see who else is out there. I think we dodged a huge bullet here, but maybe I'm being optimistic. Lower Manhattan looks like a disaster area. I mean, it is a disaster area. I wonder what's going to happen with everything down there. And what this is really going to cost. And if life is going to be different from now on. If these changing weather patterns are the way it's going to be. This is 33rd Avenue and 39th Street. I'm just out and about. A long, long line at the gas station over here on Queens Boulevard. And I was looking to see if there was much damage out at the cemetery. There were not as much as I would have thought, but there were probably half a dozen stones I saw that appeared to have been felled by the storm. And one big tree snapped at the middle. Just wandered around the cemetery looking for damage, finding some, but I feel really tired and spaced out today. I'm not sure why. Except that I might have overdone it at the gym the last few days, so I'm going to take a day or two off. I bumped into somebody that asked me where McGinnis Street was on McGinnis Avenue. And at first I didn't know what to tell him. Because I thought he was asking for a street name and not a immediate area, which is right around the cemetery. And I realized he meant McGinnis Avenue, which is well over in Greenpoint. And I said, oh, you mean over in Greenpoint? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, well, that's still that way. And he was like, that's perfect, thank you, buddy. And he was also just for purpose somebody from Queens Plaza. He was going the right direction, right 31st Street, but he asked me where Queens Plaza was. And I said, no, he thought I was right. And he said he needed 62, and I said, oh, the Brooklyn 62 bus. So I gave him good directions. It's about as useful as I've been able to make myself. I told him he was on 31st Street and I think 38th Avenue. And told him to go to 29th Street, take a left, and then Queens Plaza was like 3 or 4 long blocks that way. He seemed to appreciate it. I just like to be useful. I don't get to be useful too often. I don't know if I'm the only influence on this, but the city says that they're going to be releasing their PPT database. That's going to be a revelation. And I'll be interested to see how accurate it is. I think they only have outdoor locations. I don't think they have any knowledge of indoor payphones, but I guess we'll see. And it'll be see if any other cities do it. New York ignored my first request. I think they probably thought I was a crackpot. But, and they may be right. Whatever the case, it's possible I just made a slight difference in the world. Well, I obviously dialed the wrong number. Standing out here at a payphone trying to reach a certain person. And this ain't it. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to leave a random message from a stranger. I have no idea what number I just dialed. So, it's Friday afternoon at the end of what has been a really, really long couple of weeks for a lot of people around here. Whoever you are, if you're listening to this, and even if you're not, I hope you're doing all right. So I'm at 52nd Street and 6th Avenue in Manhattan now. Thinking of going over to 321 West 51st Street, but I think I'll do it another day. I was thinking about doing that because I got an email yesterday from someone who found a scan of a matchbook cover on my website. It's an old matchbook cover, and I have it because it has an old style telephone number on it. The phone number on the matchbook was a circle number, which used to be a telephone exchange name code used in this part of town. And but the person found it because the matchbook was for a restaurant that I think he said grandfather used to own. And he was surprised to find any trace of it on the internet. And I think that my matchbook cover was the only trace he found of the existence of that place on the public internet. There may be records elsewhere. And that was pretty cool to hear from somebody like that. And I emailed him back and suggested I might go see what's at, or get a picture of the old space. But I'm not sure that it's the right one. So I asked him if he thought it was. Because the restaurant back in the day was at 321 West 51st, but today there's a restaurant at 319 West 51st. So I don't know if they would have changed the address, or changed the space, or both. So I don't know. If I'm going to do that, I'll wait till I hear back from him and see what he thinks. But that's cool. The random connection made by a piece of ephemera uploaded to a global computer network. Checking in from a favorite little payphone. This is probably the nearest one to my apartment. And I always think of this payphone, or I always think of this horrible thing that happened here. The girl named, I believe her name was Sabrina, an Australian young girl who was 10 years old. Killed right near this spot. I believe it was a couple of years ago now. It was a horrible car accident. But for months and even years, people left flowers at this spot. The payphone itself was a shrine. Just thought of that today. I think of this almost every time I pass by here. I'm across the street from a bar, which has been around a long time, and it used to be called St. Mark's. And when it was St. Mark's, it had a reputation for being a crack den. But a couple of doors down, there's a second-hand shop. It calls itself a gallery, but it's really it's mostly just a second-hand store. And then next to that, there's a school. And the school has metal letters for its school name. Metal extruded letters. And on the letter E, some coins over the years. A couple of quarters maybe, or just to see if anybody found them. Well, in case I needed them. And they're still there, and I actually used one the day after Sandy to make a call from this payphone. It's amazing how things just hide in plain sight.
Either the number you've dialed is not a working number or must be dialed with the correct area code plus 7 digits.
42nd Street, 35th Avenue. I was sure this phone didn't work anymore. I think I'm about to become one of those douches who walks around with a headset talking into thin air. Walking up to the Staples to buy a headset. One of those smart cars just drove by. I've never been in one. One of those teeny tiny things, which looked ridiculous when they were first introduced, but I've gotten used to them. I think a lot of people have. I've never been in one, but a few people I know who have say the same thing, that if you're just looking forward, driving a car, or sitting in the front seat, it feels like you're in a substantive car. It's only when you look around or turn to your side that you realize there's nothing behind you. This is 27th Street, 30th Avenue. I just saw the retinal surgeon for my twice yearly pupil dilation to see how my macular degeneration has been proceeding, progressing. And I told him what last time I was here, there was some back and forth between him and the neurologist that sent me to have a brain MRI. And that he asked me what the verdict was from the neurologist, and I told him it was just depression. That there's nothing wrong in my brain to speak of except for some couple of white spots somewhere in there, but just depression. And I'd sort of forgotten about that. I mean, I've always known I'm depressed, but the fact that it caused such drastic physical symptoms was scary and new to me. I didn't know that that was part of the deal. So he said that he had a patient some time ago who had her vision was affected such that you'd think she had had a stroke, but they did all the exams and there was no physical evidence of anything like that. And it was the same thing. She was just severely depressed. So I don't know obviously what came next, but he says that that's all. He studied neuro-ophthalmology, I think is what he said. So he knows a bit about how the nervous system interacts, but he said that the depression thing is new to him this year. So I'm walking around with my sunglasses on, even though the sun's not out. So my pupils are dilated. I don't know if I'm going to go back in 6 months. I almost didn't come this time. There's been no progression in like 2 years now. But I'm starting to wish he hadn't asked me what the verdict was from the neurologist. I'm effectively wishing that hadn't happened. I actually went in there feeling upbeat and, because I'm pretty certain that my retina is fine. It's not, I just wanted to get this doctor's visit over with, and as soon as he asked me that, I was completely deflated. And I forget that I am depressed. He asked me what I was taking for it. I told him nothing, but that so often looking at in the past almost made me, well, they made me crazy. I just thought of something funny. Person gets up and says, I'm going to go out to Maraud for a bit. Be right back. I still feel like shit after the eye doctor of all people. Makes me feel that way. My pupils are still dilated too, which is annoying. But as I was walking over there today, I got to thinking about politics, or specifically healthcare reform, and how I voted McCain largely because I felt threatened by the proposed healthcare reforms, and I don't like them. And I think it's a disaster in waiting. There's doctors who are already too busy and too overworked to give a crap are going to see their workloads double, and there are more doctors waiting to pick up the slack. And I was thinking, I wonder if specialists are somehow going to start doing that, start doing some more primary care type work. Because I don't think they're going to become particularly more busy on account of this, but at any rate, I was thinking about politics though, and how I voted Obama this time. Not because I feel inspired. I've never understood the charisma that seems to surround that guy. But it was just a lesser of two evils. But when it comes to politics, politics is about moving forward, not about pointing the finger at the past and dismantling what your predecessors have done. It just never works, even when promised. And the idea of Romney coming in and spending 4 years undoing the healthcare reform and pulling people off of dialysis machines and taking insurance away from people that have it now who didn't have it before.
Please deposit 25 cents for the next 3 minutes. Thank you.
That was even less, that's far less appealing to me. You just have to accept that your predecessors did something that you don't agree with and that you wouldn't have done, but you can't spend all your time undoing these things. And Romney really was a backward-looking voice. And for better or worse, Obama is not. Pretty sure this phone does not work. Calling in anyway. Northern Boulevard at 41st Street. Starting to realize just how bad yesterday was. I can't maintain the illusion that I don't have serious problems. I still have the name of the therapist, the name and number on my kitchen table. That the neurologist gave me. It was that same feeling when I told the eye doctor yesterday that I was depressed. It's the same feeling as when the neurologist told me that. I just felt very heavy and sodden. It's like my whole body was wet. Like a big wet pile of shit. And that's how yesterday was. And today's a little better, but I guess I'll continue to accumulate this delusional thinking, but I'm happy with my life. sort of it's like there's a throbbing in my side. My face turned really red. But now I'm okay. I'm gonna go walk over the bridge. See what beautiful things await me. It's Thanksgiving Day. And I'm going over to some friend's place for a bunch of food. Yesterday was a really bad day. Major anxiety attacks all day long. Almost threw up. Almost hyperventilated. Was on the subway for way longer than I wanted to be. And then wandered around a neighborhood where, without making any racist comments, I was the only white person around. Nothing wrong with that, but you never know what people are thinking when they see you. So they're still rating in a way. I didn't feel like anything bad was going to happen. I just felt like I was getting a lot of attention. I slept straight till 2:30. 12 hours solid. And I got up about 7 to let Stacy out. I mean, more to the point, I got up to lock the door behind her. And I have a sore throat now. I don't feel that good, but I feel better than I did yesterday. Because I needed that sleep. Thanksgiving was okay. Dinner at a friend's place. Food makes me nervous. Everything makes me nervous, but eating at a place where I'm not sure what I'm going to be eating will always make me anxious. I walk up to Northern again. It's my favorite street these days.
Your access to this long-distance provider's network is not authorized. Please call 1-800-645-0005.
Well, find out later if this works. I've got Skype online on my phone, but it's not accepting this call. So when I try to call myself from Skype on the phone, it says it's busy. The Skype app on the Droid is pretty sketchy. It's my favorite kind of payphone. Like out in traffic, practically in traffic, right on the curb. On Northern Boulevard and 41st Street. I feel like a zombie, but I feel better than I did yesterday, so that's good. I'm gonna try and take it easy today, as if I've been working so hard. There's just so many things in life that don't fucking work. I was trying to use the Skype app on my Android phone, and it just doesn't fucking work. First I tried to use it to call myself, to call the Skype number, and it said it's busy. Then I went to a payphone to call the Skype number, and I went straight to voicemail. And that thing just frequently just closes without any error message or anything. It just decides I'm going to stop working now. And then just now I discovered that my camera stopped recording pictures this afternoon, which is not a tragedy by any stretch, but it's just really fucking annoying. And I go to Facebook and I click on a link and nothing happens. That shit doesn't fucking work. I always have to reload picture pages on Facebook for some reason. And I was just playing Ms. Pac-Man at the laundromat. This really is my life. I just walk around all day. I sleep till 2:30 and waste my days. I'm going to go get some free donuts at the Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, they'll be free because I have a gift card for it. So I guess this really is my life. I sleep as long as I want. Sleep till I can't sleep anymore. Get up. I check my numbers. Go outside. I just walk around, taking pictures that'll never be seen by anybody but myself. I go to the laundromat and play a video game. I go to the donut shop where I get free donuts because I have a $50 gift card. $50 goes a long way for donuts. After dark, I wander around the ghetto neighborhood. Just looking around, minding my own business. I had a similar thought about 6 years ago. I was sitting out in the park, trying to think of what to do. Think of something to do. And I said, well, maybe I'll walk to Roosevelt Island. And that's what I did. And my life seemed pretty tranquil then. And somehow I've been able to maintain this tranquility. It's good to be alive, but I gotta get to work someday, you know? I have mountains of raw material. Tens of thousands of pictures, hours and hours of audio. A lot of text that needs work. Projects that inspire me when I think of them at first, but which trail off into detritus. So in my ongoing and seemingly futile quicksand drowning attempts to get this project to really work, I did something last night that I almost never do. So I contacted the company that makes the software that I bought to try and do this, because I arrived at a pretty obvious bug in the software. And they're a small company, so they might be able to actually fix it quickly. But I never do this because I have sort of a confrontational attitude towards software developers, which I know is not healthy or even normal, but whenever I am confounded by software, or when I run into something that just doesn't work, which happens all the time, and I curse at it. I always imagine that there's a room full of software developers somewhere that's just laughing at me. And you know, the truth is I've been in rooms where that actually happens. I've been in like usability studies for websites and software, where the poor, unwitting subject has no idea they're being laughed at and skewered behind the two-way mirror. Well, I remember a long time ago on Usenet, I read a post by somebody who said, yeah, I downloaded a shareware version of a game. And, at the end of the game, it says, if you have any suggestions or thoughts on how we can make this better, go ahead and write us. So the guy did that. And he said, yeah, I tried the game. I don't think I'm going to buy it because of, I don't remember what the reasons were, but, he gave me a list of maybe a half dozen reasons. And within minutes, somebody at the company wrote back and said, thanks for your email, but we don't give a fuck what you think. We don't give a fuck about your suggestions. I suppose that anecdote, whether it's true or not, might have colored my attitude toward the software development world a long time ago. But there is that defining sense of that the programmers are in charge and the end users are not so much customers as your minions, your testers. We work for software developers. It's not the other way around. They just get paid for it and we pay them. Or whatever the case. The company that I contacted, I got a quick reply from I did get a quick reply from what sounds like a project manager who's going to send it out, send it back to the actual programmers to see if they can do what they call a hotfix. See, this is why I contacted them, because it's a small enough company that they can probably issue a fix pretty quickly. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with my busy day. Well, I don't know how much I had to do with it, but I like to take some credit for a tiny triumph. The city just released its data that said of PPTs, public pay telephone locations, after I made a request for that release about 3 weeks ago. I think other factors were already at work to encourage them to release this information, but it looks like there is some direct correlation. The data is not entirely complete. I don't think this phone is on the list, for instance. Looks like they skipped BAS and EHUC altogether, and maybe some others. But it's a good start. What remotivates me, I've been lazy as hell lately. But with this, I think I can get some traction to stay productive. Keep turning the minutia. That'll be my epithet, or my epitaph. I always get those two words mixed up. Well, anyway, just walking around trying to get some sunlight, but I think I'm out of luck today. Got out too late. And so I slept until 4 o'clock today, which I think was about 13 hours. Just straight. I think I might have got up once to go to the bathroom. I guess I really needed it or something. I was walking around feeling a little incoherent. Just trying to get my circulation going. It's crazy times in my life. Crazy tranquil. Nothing moving, but everything happens anyway. I'm calling from the Supercenter payphone. I call it that because it's this sad-looking, abandoned Supercenter where they left one payphone on the wall. It used to be a big grocery store with a pizza place and a donut shop and a bunch of little businesses. but the big supermarket closed up, and now the place looks abandoned, even though the smaller shops are actually still open. So there's an insurance company in here that has a sign that says, "Yes, we are still here." Even though it looks kind of sketchy when you drive up here, I guess. There's this giant empty parking lot. A mostly abandoned facility. I was walking along and a dog jumped out at me, barking crazy. Scared the crap out of me. Had a leash on and everything, but still. Who needs the aggravation? Who needs their tranquility disrupted by canine outbursts? I don't know what I'm doing today. Probably nothing. Nothing useful. I'm about ready to flip the switch on the new web server. And I'm glad I didn't do it last night because I got an important email today, which I might have missed. And I switched things over yesterday. Somebody on the radio wants to interview me. And actually, I think I know who this one is, who this interviewer is. I might do it, even though those interviews are always a waste of my time. But I made an intentional, or what do you call it, an executive decision some months ago to step out of my shell and start talking about this matter again. This is a strange way to be communicating. I also have a headache, by the way. It's one of those days where decapitation is a very attractive option. I was walking around looking for palindromes. I think I saw a good one. Raw bar. So you'd say raw bar, abor. And that will be a dieting, a competitive dieting thing in which people try to develop their abs by eating nothing but mussels and clams. Let us engage now in a raw bar ab war. Gonna pump you up. I just thought of that because I'm looking across the street. There's a Subaru dealership. My mother once pointed out to me that Subaru spelled backwards is U-R in bus. She also noticed that Stroh's, which is a beer, I don't know if it's still around, but Stroh's spelled backward is shorts. Shorts. Shorts is a joyful little word, isn't it? Looking to the right, and I see that building. I think that's the building. Yeah, that is it, on 57th Street. That high-rise that was the focus of so much trepidation during the hurricane. It's because the crane collapsed pretty early in the storm and was dangling there for, I don't know, a couple of weeks afterward. I thought the coverage of that incident was a little offensive. I mean, if that thing had fallen, there would have been an explosion, no doubt. It would have been really, really nasty. But the coverage focused mostly on the fact that it was a luxury high-rise building being constructed, and that some of the units were going for, I don't know, $90 million or something. And that was really the focus of the interest for the newscasters that I was watching. But the sun is just going down. It's pretty much down. There's that pink aurora of sunlight glowing behind Manhattan. I also can see the Time Warner Center. left, there's some other office building that I recognize, but couldn't tell you what it is. There's two enormous billboards in this parking lot. They're probably about 30 feet up in the air. Maybe it might be higher, 40 feet in the air. From the back, I can't see what's on the billboards. I'm looking at the back sides of them. It looks erotic to me. It looks sexual. As the girl I'm seeing now has noticed many times over, everything is sexual to me. And I'm fine with that. I'm at peace with that. There's an abandoned check cashing place across the street. I noticed that it's been abandoned for years. And I noticed there's a gumball machine in there that has a bunch of, I guess it was M&Ms, or I think they were M&Ms with peanuts inside, because they were really big. They were bigger than normal M&Ms. And they've just disintegrated into dirt over the years. Amusing side effects of abandoned buildings when the vending machines are left to rot. Yeah, there's definitely a lonely old parking lot. I'm just checking in from the Supercenter payphone. I'll check in again soon. Bye. I'm back at the Supercenter payphone, and the coffee cup that I left here yesterday is still here. It's a little earlier, so it's a little lighter outside. Yesterday it was pretty much dark. As much as I hate it when people read their own poetry, I thought I'd try mine. I wrote this a few weeks ago. Drop by drop, line by line, a strict waitress stones herself across 3 centuries, raining pellets of dissonance where minds inhale spirited democracies crushed by celebrity. Superior winters trample noontime, forcing happiness into neglected strains of a city emptied but for vaguely remembered tragedies, emptied but for stranded fools and the failure of selfish plans. I boil exotic coffee close to your chest, stripping air from your body in favor of a lost concoction, in favor of assertions into your imagined nobility. Tremors through the pistol whip, jingle bells of whitewash grabbed by plunderful means, jump and hunt for crosshatched buttons, bust a testicle running against childhood politicians, hobbled by inadequate funding but lofty in the bluntness of fools. Noses run, eyes yellow. I piss away the shit stains of my best friends. Those stains stick to the porcelain of your mind. I watch the calm pace of exhaust pump and draw the shiny brain of your unfathomably deep ocean. Arts and letters scratch themselves along your face. Vapid songs from decades alone pile heavy balloons on top of starving cars, speeding hot and or wholly through troubled streets emptied of direction. You hold your hand and punch at blinded flesh, stumbling headlong up trampy ambulances which hoarsely wheeze interpretable siren signals, some mysterious, others blunt, all rattling down maladjusted interstates, crawling through the cupboards of consciousness where each of us knows our fate. Each of us understands the process of being digested by life and society and reintroduced as a bottomless cave where undeserved fame absorbs prisoners in hiding. Now that I read it aloud, I see I repeated a few words unnecessarily. I'll have to clean that up. Well, I got up a lot earlier today, and I feel a little bit better than I did yesterday, which isn't saying much. Having some weird inertal drama. Not sure what it is. I'm going to go buy a donut.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. The following tones are for the hard of hearing.
Yeah, I don't know if this is working, but one of the phones I've been calling from doesn't seem to work anymore. The 8-key sticks. And apparently if I talk, I can't be heard on the other end. I woke up today at 3:30, a little shocked to realize I had slept so long and so solid. I got up once to let my girlfriend out, or to lock the door behind her, rather. And that was it. That was about 8 o'clock, I guess. So essentially I slept from about 2 until 3:30, 2 a.m. to 3:30. Woke up and the sun's coming down. The sun's going down. This phone is in an alleyway. Technically it's a street, but looks like people just use it as a parking lot. I can see Manhattan. Just played some Ms. Pac-Man, didn't do very well, got frustrated, said fuck it. Still a little bleary-eyed. Oh, and when I woke up at about 8, I checked my email, and I got a message from an old friend who, not to be falsely grandiose or anything, but I honestly didn't think I was ever going to hear from her again after we corresponded maybe 6 or 7 months ago. But she wanted to know if I had an email address for another friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours. And I did. And I told her the whole scenario, that I had just woken up to let my girl out. But that the best email address I had was something that I found somewhere. Darkness is weird to wake up to. Darkness is heavy to wake up to. Chasing daylight is not a way toward health, wealth, and happiness. And speaking of wealth, I really do have to clean up my web server today and tomorrow. It's a big project, and made bigger by the fact that I don't seem to have any time on my hands these days. To my left, there's a pizza shop that closed. To my left, there's a pizza shop that closed a little while ago. Sign in the window says it's temporary, but it's been months. I was a little bummed about that. There's a liquor shop next to it. Chinese food. Grocery store, or whatever it is, called the Food Mart. And there's the donut shop where I get my free donuts with my Dunkin' Donuts gift card that I've been winding down since I got it 2 years ago. $50 is a lot of donuts. And there's a T-Mobile store here. Well, just going to walk around a little more. Just to get some circulation going. Yeah. So it appears that this microphone is not as useful as I thought it was going to be. but I'm giving this a try anyway. It appears you can't use a Bluetooth headset for dictation or almost anything except phone calls, it seems. I'm just calling in because I am holed up for the night. Not going anywhere until my web servers are all taken care of. I haven't moved a server like this in a long time. I moved a couple of domains, but I haven't moved a big server like this. It's going to save me a lot of money, too, because I'm paying way too much for this one. The story is that the site got hacked by some Chinese hackers, and it took me about a year to figure this out, but the hack was a result of a vulnerability that was left there by the hosting company. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was their fault. But in the aftershock of the moment, someone at the data center compelled me to get a RAID for this box. And that actually did prove to be useful once when the hackers attacked the site again. But on the second attack, I still didn't realize that the cause of it, what was the vulnerability. So I've been paying extra for this RAID, mostly as a result of the data centers screwing something up. But what can you do? It's only money, right? So I said I wasn't going anywhere until the job is done, but I'm down to 2 big file transfers that are going to take about 15 minutes. So I just thought I'd go out and get some air, walk around the block. Something that I was hoping would not happen, which was that I got an email from somebody. And because I couldn't think quickly enough how better to do it, I just decided to copy my whole inbox over again, just for the sake of saving that one email. And my inbox is, I think it's like 300 megabytes. That's after I counted it down a bunch. Whatever the case, happy to be making some progress. Happy to be saving some money. At least I will be soon. It's cold out here and windy, causing my breath to form fog as I breathe. Across the street from an Albanian social club and a liquor store that I never go to because the owner was an asshole. Underneath the subway, under the L, and the subway just roared past right as I came over here. Well, I figure my transfer should be done soon, my file transfer, so no sense wasting any more time. Yeah, all right, so it's 2:30 or 2:40, and I think I'm finally done with everything. At least for now. The DNS is propagating, and I guess everything will make sense tomorrow. I'm still confused about email. I don't understand where everything is going. On my old server, there was a single inbox, just a big chunk of text, whereas now it appears to default to an IMAP format, which I've never been crazy about. But I can probably figure it out. Went out to the bar for one beer. Was talking to a friend about what we would do if our respective livelihoods just suddenly collapsed. And she owns the bar that we were at. And I do this. And we were both just like, I don't know. I don't know how to look for a job. I don't even know what my resume looks like. I don't think I've updated it or even seen it for 8 years. And I'm probably too set in my ways to go work for somebody else, unless I could have my way with all things. I'm really shocked that I slept so solid to 3:30 today, or yesterday. I guess I'm overexerting myself in some ways. And now I'm just pacing. My blood pressure is high. I have some strange pains in my chest. It don't make any sense. I didn't eat much today either, which is not good. Well then, I guess I have nothing else to say. My fancy new phone just stopped working. It was really obnoxious. I had to take the battery out, put it back in, hope for the best. It's really stupid. They took away my payphone at 35th Avenue and 1st Street. I can hear background noise on this phone. Boy, it's probably Disney radio. Your Disney radio at the back of a lot of payphone calls. Not a lot, but if it's not Disney, I'm not sure what it is. I can barely hear it. Got up about 4 times during the night, but slept pretty good. Slept pretty well. Sun's going down. From here I can see the traffic on the upper level of the Greensport Bridge. I guess maybe a mile or so down. Yeah, so, the gate is done, basically. I'm transferring one last ginormous tar file. And once that's done, I'm just going to close that sucker down and get it in before the next billing cycle. So, part of the number